If I could have a plushie of any one of my characters, I would pick Luca, and I would hold him and care for him and tell him I love him and shower him in kisses and then slam dunk him right into the garbage can because honestly, that's where he belongs. And I hate this man. He ruined my life and I hate him and I hate him and I love him and I want a plushie of him. Anybody open for plushie commission? Let's get started. 2017. Let's go. There's a lot of things going on right now. There's construction work outside. My family is outside the door and I am sick. My family came over the past 2 days. A majority of them were sick, and lo and behold, I'm sick too. So I want to excuse my itchy throat, and if I ever cough like directly into your ears, that's gross, but you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna be sick unless you're already sick, then that sucks. Anyways, we're gonna be talking about how I color certain things just because I get a lot of questions about this. I'm gonna be coloring this picture of Luca just because it's the only okay picture I have. I wanted to draw another picture for this video, but you see, he's really ugly here, and I don't want to start the year off with a really ugly Luca. That would just be really messed up and sad. So I'm just gonna go with this picture. Alright, fantastic. So I have all of him colored in. I'm hoping this is his skin color. I could be wrong. God, who knows anymore. But the question I get often is how I color blush. So I actually use the Airbrush tool for this, and it's one of the few times when I use the Airbrush tool. So I get a color. I'm going to use this bright pink right now. I'm not going to stick with this color at all because, it doesn't look right. But I go on a layer above the skin. So this is his skin color right here. I moved away from and then I get another layer. I misspelled blush, but that's okay. And I make it a clipping layer just so that, in case you didn't notice right here, look at this. In case you don't know what clipping does, which you should because I already have 20 videos on it. But you see how the blush goes outside the skin because it's not on clipping? Well, if I click clipping, ta-da, it's only going to show up on whatever is underneath that layer. So, anyways, Airbrush tool, just going to put that, just like coat it, like it's his first time using makeup. He doesn't know how to put blush on yet. And then I usually put it like right under the eyes like that. And I also sometimes do it on the ears depending on like the situation. So I usually just put like a tiny bit like that maybe. If he's like blushing like hardcore though, it's going to be like super in your face, but right now it's just a little bit. And then sometimes I like to put blush down here. Let's see, but like just a tiniest bit like that. I don't know if you can even see it right there, but you gotta remember that blush has to do with blood like underneath your skin, and if somebody is all just one solid color, they're gonna look dead and like a vampire. So I try to just put it on like places that I feel would be red, like knees sometimes and elbows, I don't know, knuckles, that kind of stuff. So I got this, and then oh I told you I'm sick. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Okay, so I'm gonna change the color according to his skin. Since he's darker, I like to go for a darker color. And since he's a nightmare demon also, his blood is like not red. It's kind of like more on the burgundy, maybe like purpley side. So I'm gonna change it to that too. If you have if it's what is it called? If it's a species that has blood that isn't red, it's gonna look different like on the outside of the skin. So for us, our blood is red, or there's a lot of controversy, red or blue, whatever. But the thing is, when we blush, it's red because our blood is red underneath. So, science stuff. I'm not a scientist. Like, look it up yourself. And let me just adjust it. Ooh, what color is that? I like it. So I'm going to use that color for now, just because I like how it looks. And then this is still too much. I mean, like I said, it depends on the situation. So if he was like getting hit on by some really cute person, then maybe he would be blushing. Probably not. I think he would be blushing more of embarrassment or something like that. So this might be it. But since I'm not going to make him super nervous, I'm going to tone it down like a lot, like that. I still like to have it showing a little bit, even when my characters aren't embarrassed or being flirty or whatever. I like to make them blush just a little bit, just so that they don't look, like I said, like they're dead. I like to make sure their skin isn't just one color. It's like when you're first applying makeup to those who do wear makeup, and you put on all this foundation and you don't put on any blush, and you realize like, why is my face just one color? It doesn't really look natural. So that's what I like to go for. Just make it a little more natural. And I like to blend that in a bit. And yeah, so that's how I do blush. And it's one of the ways I do blush. I used to do blush in a different way. His face, now that I'm looking at it, looks a bit too blushy. So I'm going to get just his normal skin tone and just kind of like work it upwards like that. There we go. So it's not like his whole face is red. And sometimes another thing I like to do just for like stylistic kind of stuff is I like to go back and put even more blush, but like usually it's just like right underneath the eyes like this. And then maybe like fade it out like that. Gotta put that on clipping. But sometimes I like to do that just like as a stylistic thing. So it's just a lot brighter by the eyes and everything else. Look at the difference that makes. I kind of like it like a lot. He's so cute. He's so pretty. I'm gonna leave it like that. I used to do blush another way. I guess I'll show you just because, I don't know, in case you guys want to know. So let me do a separate layer. Gonna recolor it all for one. Then you can see how, whoops, you can see, look at that, like the difference. Cool. Okay, so anyways, I used to do blush using the pencil tool. So which was this, and I used to make it really big. And then, let's see, I used to just kind of like do that. And there's some artists who do this too, and they can make it work. I found that I could never make it look nice, so I just didn't use it like this. But it's very stylistic, very cartoony, like a Western kind of style. So I really like that one too. I haven't used it in a while, but you know, if you want to use it, go ahead. I mean, whatever. You find different ways to do blush. There. So I used to do blush like that too. That's really cute, actually. I kind of like that. And I would just kind of put it like in the center of their face like that, like above right here. So that's another way you should do it. And another way you should do it, which I still like to do sometimes, is I would do the same thing with the airbrush, but I would place it better, or have not place it better, but like put it like right on the sides of their face like that, instead of like the whole thing like I usually do right now. I kind of like to do like that too. So sometimes I do that, just not as often, and then I put like a little on the nose like that, and here again. So yeah, that's another way to just not just put it like that like I usually do, but you know, kind of plan out where you put it. So that's kind of in a way that people who wear makeup would place it, you know, like on, they would pay attention to the placement and they don't just put it everywhere. So yeah, if you want to do that, that's pretty cool too. I kind of like how that looks too. Oh, I kind of like that better. This is hard. Art is really hard. Look at him. He looks really red here. Oh, I messed up. Let me just... Alright, so here's some very minimal shading. The color looks really bright. This is not going to be the final color. This just happened to be the color my brush was on and it worked. So, who is mentioning me? Go away. I love you. Anyways, who? So, I'm going to have, okay, here's the shading. Let me change the color a bit. Again, a lot of people were like, how do you pick the color of the shading? Well, it depends on a lot of things. First off, the mood of the picture. This, you know, looks really extreme, like blue for shading. What the heck? I would probably use this depending on, like I said, the picture, the mood, the lighting of the picture. This would work if it was a picture with very cool colors, cool colors, that's what it's called, right? Or maybe it's during nighttime or whatever, you know. So that would work. The background of the picture makes a big difference. The color of the skin makes a difference. You know, there's just a lot of factors. I can't really say why I pick the colors that I do. I do want to make a video on that just because a lot of people ask for it, but I can't really give that much right now just because I don't know how to explain myself. But here I am trying to figure out a color that I like. I use this color a lot, I'm pretty sure. But let me just lower the opacity a bit. Should I stick with this? I guess I'll stick with this and I'll change it up later. So what I like to do is I get a color, and if I change the opacity, I like to use the eyedropper tool, grab that color, put it back to normal 100% opacity, protect alpha, and then color it in using the color that I just used the eyedropper tool on. And I do this because I like to use the airbrush tool for this as well to change the color a bit. So we're on this color. This is the base color. So what I like to do is go for, let me open this up. I don't know why it's still closed. For a more saturated color. And let's see, I'm going to go for maybe that. And then I'm going to use the airbrush tool. Where are you? There you are, buddy. And I like to use this color on places that are like in areas that would be a little darker. So right here, I like to just use that just a tiny bit. You see, can you see the color difference right there? You can see how there's more of that pinkish that I just used, and this is like the base color. So I like to do that right here because it's like under a bunch of hair, so it's a bit darker. Right here, I'm gonna use it right here, so just blend it out. It's a bit extreme right there. I could go back and fix it later if I want to, which I will because it's very noticeable. Let me just take that off a bit. Maybe like that, less noticeable. So I like to do that, and then I also like to go and use the skin color, and then I like to put that like on certain places where I feel like it would be lighter shading, or if I want to blend it in a bit, so like that. And then right here, especially because skin is very soft, so using just, depending on your style, of course, I'm okay with very sharp shading and lines because I really like that in my art, but I've just done this just because I like how it looks softer. So did you see how that softened the shadow a bit? Let's go back. That's how it is, and then I just did a little bit of that, and that looks really nice. Let's do a little here. So yeah, so I like to do that, so it's kind of like a more blendy effect, and also it's like, it's skin, so it's softer, the shading should be softer. So that's how I do shading. So I use 3 colors for shading. I should have probably like done color samples before I messed it up. That's how I like to shade skin. Yay, you guys learned things, maybe. I don't know if this is correct. I'm not saying it is. It's just an art style choice. Yay, if you want to do it, go ahead. It's fun. Let me tell you, shading like this is super fun. It makes it way more fun than shading usually is. So, yay. Oh, bad. Oh, I just had a very bad coughing fit because guess who choked on her coffee in the break time? Woo, that's fun. Also, my family is very loud outside. Everything's a mess. Okay, let's go on to talking about skin stuff. What is this layer? I don't know what this layer is. Okay, what else? Please chill out there, guys. I'm trying to film. Let's talk about more skin stuff like freckles. So I'm pretty sure I have a brush circle scatter. So I used to use this a lot. Depending on how like realistic I wanted freckles to be. It's gonna be kind of weird putting freckles on Luca, but I don't have any unfinished pictures of Papaya, who is like my one character who actually has freckles. But let's go with Luca. A lot of people put freckles only on fair-skinned people, but I've seen some pictures of people with dark skin who have freckles, so like I don't know what the science behind that is, so don't just feel limited to putting freckles on light-skinned people. You know, experiment, right? I have this brush called the Circle Scatter. I don't know where I got it from. I probably have it somewhere saved on my Tumblr. This is what I used to use for freckles. So I used to do this for like some pictures of Papaya. And the color I tend to use for freckles, back in my old art, you would see that their freckles were really dull because I used to kind of use like a grayish color. I don't know why. I just did. And it didn't look that nice. So I kind of go for a darker color than their skin. So this is like a darker brown, and I go for that. And then maybe I'll lower the opacity depending on how I feel about it. Like if they have like really like barely freckles that are barely there, he looks kind of cute. Let me put some more. But that's how I used to do freckles. Like I said, depends on the picture. If I want it more realistic, that's what I use. This is how I sometimes do for freckles too. It's like too nice and neat though. And I also like to make sure they're not all the same size, just because I don't know, I just kind of like the varying sizes. This looks too neat though. This looks like too like somebody drew them on, you know, because they were just like all neat. So there. And then I like to put some on the nose. The nose is my favorite part to put freckles on. Can you tell like I'm struggling with talking? Life is good. So that's how I do freckles. Go for a darker color of the skin. Depends on the skin color. Depends on line art sometimes. Depends on the mood. But usually I just do that. I don't go for like blue freckles or anything. But as you can see here, I went like purple, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, let's see what... wrong picture. Okay, what else to talk about for skin? I like him with freckles. Well, that's pretty much all I had for this video. I hope you learned something. Probably didn't. I mean, let's be honest. But I hope you... I guess one thing you did learn is that I'm just making everything up as I go. So that's something you learned. But I hope that it helped like a little bit, I don't know, with like blush or something, or made you think about things. Who knows? But anyways, that's all I had for this video. Hope it was cool. Hope it was great. Hope you have a great new year, and I will be posting more often, I promise. I just have to find some time to record. And that's it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot, and I hope you guys do well, and please have a happy new year, whatever. It's January 1st, 3rd. Bye!